Hi everyone, it's Gail here. Good evening. It is, what day is it? It's Monday, the start of the week. My shoulder keeps drooping. It's the start of the week and I'm here live at 5-ish. I should say that actually on all the stuff that I do about the Ignite show. It's live because I always say it's live at 5, but it always ends up being live at 5-ish because I'm never usually bang on 5. But anyway, here I am. It's Monday, the start of a new week, and I'm going to be talking about how curiosity combats conflict today because it came up with a client earlier, and I just thought it'd be a good topic for tonight. So if you are on watching me live, let me know. I see one person is on watching live. So let me know if you're on. Let me know who you are, where you are, and what you are up to. What sort of day are you having? Whereabout are you in the country, or whereabout are you in general? You could be anywhere, right? So whereabout are you? What have you been up to? How has your day been so far? Just drop me a little note in the comments and let me know. And whoever that was, I've scared them off by doing that. So it's just me now, which is fine. So curiosity combats conflict. So how often do you find yourself in a situation where you are experiencing a bit of conflict, right? So we all know that feeling, right? So it comes up with other people. So we're in a group with other people, or we're working with other people, or it could be in an office environment, it could just be at home, it could be in a social environment, it could be with friends, it could be with colleagues, but we know that feeling, right? We get into conflict. So and we all get into conflict and react to conflict and experience conflict in different ways. Some of us, we can get aggressive, right? So I quite often hear the term, the hackles on the back of my neck were raised, right? So like a cat, right? So sometimes people react like that. Sometimes it can just feel a bit, you feel a bit anxious in your stomach, feel, a little bit unsettled, a little bit stressed, don't feel quite right. But whatever it is for you and however it shows up, we know, right? We know when we are in conflict, don't we? Abigail is on. Hi, Abigail. How are you? Twice in one day you're joining me live. I am honoured. Twice in one day. So you know how conflict shows up for you, right? You know what that is like. And the tip or the tool that I have for you today is called Designing the Alliance, right? So I'm going to be talking about this with my clients this week on Wednesday. So I thought I'd do a little live on it, just give you a little snippet of what I'm going to be talking about with my clients later this week, called Designing the Alliance. So the way this works is that you need to know what is important to you, right? So you need to know and understand what is important to me, because when we get into conflict, it's usually because somebody or something, right? Not something. It's not really something. It's somebody, intentionally or otherwise. It's usually unintentional, right? But somebody is trampling on something that is really important to you. Or it could be that you are doing that to yourself. So it could be that there's something that's really important to you that you're not allowing yourself to honor, right? You're not allowing yourself to, you're not giving yourself permission to align with that, or to protect that, or create boundaries around that with other people. Because sometimes it can be that, something's really important to you. Like one of my values is freedom, right? Freedom is really, really important to me. And sometimes it can be that, do you know what? I know I've committed to something that flies in the face of my value of freedom, right? And if I do that, if I know I've done that, or maybe I don't realize I've done it, but I'll know that something doesn't feel quite right. So I've maybe committed to do something, and then, inside, my gut will be churning a little bit, and I'll be thinking, right, there's something not right here. What is going on? And sometimes it can be as simple as just taking a step back and realizing and noticing, actually, one of my values, like freedom, is really important to me, and I'm not honoring it. I'm trampling on it. But normally when we get into conflict with other people, it's because somebody else, unintentionally usually, has trampled on something that is important to us. So it's really important to be aware of that and to know that about yourself. But the key thing then is to apply that knowledge with the people that are around you, and to have a conversation, and to have agreements in place about what's important for each other and to be curious, right? Because when we're curious, right, when we're curious, we invite people in. When we are confrontational, or sometimes when we ask questions, when we ask why questions, or sometimes when we get into convincing mode, right? So this is the way, part of the conversation went earlier today. It's like, well, I'm trying to convince them into my way of thinking. It's like, well, how about if you were curious, right? How about if you were just curious about their way of thinking? And whether you then both agree on that or not, it invites people in. It allows people to be open without being defensive. They don't have to defend their position when you're just curious. If you just ask, very naturally, so what's important about that for you? Or tell me more about that. Help me to understand what is important about that for you, right? Because when we do that, right, we sometimes uncover and understand things or begin to learn things about the people that are around us that we didn't know before, right? So it can open up a whole heap of possibility. But the whole point of this is to understand and get curious about what each of us is important about, right? Or what each of us holds to be important. That is the thing. Because when we do that, so when we open that up and we have that discussion and we get curious about that, it gives us the opportunity to then have a discussion about, right, well, what can we agree on? Right? What is important to you? What's important to me? What can we agree on together that honors that, right? Because that is how we resolve conflict. It's about not focusing on what we're not, or it's about focusing on what we can agree on rather than what we can't agree on, right? Because you all know what you can't agree on because it's there and it's making you feel awkward and horrible. But when you get back onto the table, what you can agree on, it gives you options and room for maneuver, and it allows you to open up discussion and look for opportunity within that, because it's a much more positive perspective and place to start a conversation from. Like, start with, what are we agreeing on? What are we agreeing on? What can we agree on? What would that look like? What would it look like to serve both of what we are interested in, or both of what we deem to be important? So if this is important to you and that's important to me, what can we agree on, right, that would serve both of that? And if you're in a bigger group, obviously it's a bigger discussion and there's more to think about and there's more to take into account, but the principle is the same. What is important to you? So say you had a group of people, a team that was in conflict, right? A team that just can't agree, was in conflict, and it wasn't working well, right? A dysfunctioning team, right? Then again, understanding and getting on the table what's important to everybody in this group, what's important to everybody in this team, right? And when you can just ask that question and get curious and be open and honest with each other about what that looks like, and for people to be curious rather than judging, right? Because judgment puts people on the defensive. Curiosity invites discussion and it makes people a bit more open. I'm really interested in that. Help me understand what is important about that to you, right? So try that. So that is my thing. So you want to design alliances with the people around you, right, about what is important to you, right? So you want to be able to name what is important to you, but you want to be really curious as well about what is important to them. And then, right, it's okay, based on all of that, what can we agree on? So that you're finding ways to honor and serve the things that are important to all of you, right? And that is how you get out of conflict, because you start focusing on what you can agree on rather than what you can't agree on. So that's my little tip for you for tonight. And I'm going to leave it there. I'm just doing a very quick one tonight. I've got my eye on the timer because I've got a few things that I still need to do. So I'm going to leave you with that. Hope that was helpful. Let me know if it was in the comments. If you're watching this on replay, #replay, and let me know what you think. And I will speak to you again on Thursday. I'll be back again on Thursday with my next Ignite show. So take care, everyone. Bye.